Okay, so let's move on to the letters that would need to be created for this first major assignment. First things first, I highly encourage you, once you develop a letterhead, something that includes your name and then your contact information, everything else like that, I encourage you to and go ahead and connect the these headers and all that you have on all of your documents that you're going to be submitting, your cover letter and your resume. They should look very much as if they're on common letterhead. You don't really have to pay anybody to develop this stuff. It's pretty simple. Just adjust your fonts a little bit. As you can see, mine's 20-point font for the top. Then I go down to about 9. You may say, well, why am I not at 12? It's because really this is kind of just follow-up information that they need. Plus, it's already going to be usually, if it's for a job application or something, it's like it's going to be represented somewhere else. So we really want to make certain the focus is drawn right in this general area. Now, make certain the font is set to 12 point or something similar. Using Arial font's fine. Times New Roman's a good one as well. So let's jump into the information you're going to put. So first things first, you'll start off with the date that you're going to be sending out the letter. Then this is where you'll put the address information, so it may be like Human Resources, Sutton Industries, box 456, and then you can abbreviate it if you choose to. I'll be honest, you can abbreviate it, not abbreviate it. It's not really going to make any difference. Please don't do abbreviations for the dates. Just doesn't look as good. Then do your greeting. Now, colon versus comma. Comma, friendly letter. You know this is your buddy and you're talking about buddy stuff. Colon, professional. This could still be your buddy, but you're talking about business. One piece of punctuation indicates several things. Now, you should note, I have nowhere in this document started using double spacing. There's a default spacing that exists in Microsoft. In fact, probably gonna have to move this physically up to have you see it. I've already set mine to 0, and it does it whenever I do it. A lot of times for documents when you first open it up, if you've ever wondered what it looks like maybe triple spacing when you double space, it's because of this line spacing. Microsoft defaults it usually to about a 10 point. If you're kind of curious what this does, it looks like this. So, see, looks like you got double spacing, even though you never turned on double spacing. It's just every time you hit return, it does that spacing thing. So, make certain it's set to 0. And we're not going to have any double spacing. There's no need for it. So, start off something straightforward. What is this thing in front of them? Alright, so something straight to the point. Why is all this stuff in front of the person? Why are you writing them? Why are you contacting them? This is for obviously a cover letter for a job application. If the cover letter or the letters for something else, it could be much more simplistic. In fact, for something more simplistic, it could literally end right now. In fact, for a job application, depending on the industry you're going into, you could end it right now with, a simple best, and then I usually would go back and using like some sort of drawing program, put in my picture version of my signature and rock on. That being said, there's still more you can do. You can write a paragraph. Alright, so a paragraph briefly highlighting your experiences and their value to their company. That should be something as brief as that. This paragraph component didn't really flesh out just because, I mean, it really is about 4 or 5 sentences. This isn't a typical, say, paragraph for an English 1301 or O2 course. It's something brief to the point. Here's some specific things that I've done and all that can be of value to your company. Thank you for your time. And then move on to the conclusion of it. Cover letters really should never highlight, ever, your weaknesses. I've seen some that suggest that you should have a paragraph talking about what makes you amazing and then a paragraph talking about where you need to improve. Don't address where you need to improve. They're going to ask you a question about that usually in the interview, and it's a good idea to have one of those in your back pocket just to be able to bring it up, because you don't want to sit there and go, well, I'm infallible. Well, okay, well, you've never hit the brick wall, you've never had any failures, you don't know what you need to do to fix you, and you've never fixed you, so that can cost you. But there's no need to highlight in the cover letter. It takes up way too much space, and you can talk about it when you get to face-to-face conversations with them. So something like this, very brief and very to the point, typically will take care of the job without any problem. As far as writing the follow-up after you get done with doing the job interview, and that's pretty straightforward too. So, yeah, of course. See, sometimes I any of that stuff. All right. So, as you can see, very straight to the point, very simplistic. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out 2 things. Number 1, if you're going to email this back, great. Just do it like this, structured like this, formatted like this. You could also print it out and mail it like this. However, there's something to be said in some industries for handwriting the thank you note and handwriting it onto an actual piece of stationery. It certainly has a unique quality to it. It suggests that it's not something that was just formatted and that you changed around. Because, I mean, let's be honest, if you were applying for multiple jobs and you had multiple interviews, I mean, it really wouldn't take much to make a couple minor changes, and poof, suddenly this goes off to somebody else. Doesn't seem very personal, does it? That's the reason the handwritten one still has a lot of value in it. But again, if you're going electronically, go simple, go straight to the point, and this is the type of document that you would send on. So that gives you cover letter, follow-up letter, and in the previous video, resumes were covered as well. All of these documents should be kept in a convenient, easy to access folder in either the cloud or on your desktop computer so that you can quickly augment them, change them, modify them for whatever you're going after. They should be able to be flexibly sent to wherever they need to go. That's one of the nice things about tech writing is that we acknowledge that some of the documents we're creating aren't for finite points. They are sent at finite moments, and then when the need arises, we want to send in and use the document again, we go back, we have it as the basis of what we're going to say, make the minor tweaks where we really need to make the minor tweaks, send the sucker on, and move on. So it's kind of a fun thing of tech writing. So this covers the job application components and all the requirements attached to them. and I will be back for another video soon. Thanks.